Hi, everyone. Mitch from SportsChatPlace.com and PickDogs.com. It's Sunday, June 21st, 2020, here with your live show. Live 7 days a week, 365 days a year, even if there's no sports or sports that we don't normally cover. But I'll tell you, at least I think we've done a pretty good job. I even was watching right before I came on here, and I should throw it just on the TV right here in the studio. I do have an 80-inch flat screen sitting right in front of me that's not on, so I guess I could throw it on here. But I was watching the Sheffield West whatever game, and the defender just totally whiffed on a crossing pass, and of course they paid the price. So it was 1-0, then they scored again. Two normally very defensive teams. At least that's what the announcer said. Last night's UFC card, we saw one of the best UFC fights you could ever see. And then he also saw, something that could damage the sport forever. So you kind of get the mix. And I want to announce that Rod Zawacki, not with us this morning. Not that he doesn't want to be with us, but he's on his way back home. Life at the acreage, not what it's cracked up to be. Power outage at the acreage. Zawacki's in the car driving back home, and he's ready for business. He's moving into his new studio there as well. So we'll see him back on Tuesday. Tomorrow will be, of course, Monday with Mitch, and I'll be doing a studio tour of my studio where I'm at now, because it's changed a lot since my last studio tour. So really excited to share that with you. Might even clean up my desk. But anyways, we're going to bring in Steve Monahan. We have some sports news out there. None of it good. So we will call it the Bummer Taco Sunday. Steve, Major League Baseball, got to think about it because Corona spikes. We're talking now, NFL now talking about training facilities, and things like that. Not talking about stopping the season. And Adam Silver in the NBA, somber, but not backing down that, that they want to go. So,
True.
this, I think we expected to see spikes after Memorial Day. I thought we expected to see spikes after people were coming back out of isolation and quarantine and things like that. I don't really know much about. I'm not a doctor. I used to play one in AOL chat rooms, but
That's right.
it's like,
I used to play one on TV.
but really, I mean,
It's concerning, especially in Florida. We talked before the show. It's north of 4,000 cases now, a 3-day spike. It's a state record, unfortunately. But with the NBA slated to play in Disney, it's a concern. It's an absolute concern. Now LSU just announced, a couple players now, 20 are in quarantine or 14. So the southern part of the United States seems like it's spiking down there, and I think it's a concern. I do.
Yeah, I think
Nobody's dying as far as I know, but
I think it's a concern. But I think precautions can be taken, and I think what we've seen from this is that it's kind of like once you get the virus, you're good, right? So it's like.
Right.
Eventually,
the
natural immunity.
One gets it, 14, I think, get quarantined based on that case or something along those lines.
Nick Watney got it, and he had traveled with Sergio Garcia to the event in Dallas, where they're or wherever they are. They're in Harbortown, right? Harbortown,
right
now,
right.
And where they're just throwing darts. I mean,
they are.
There's
Webb Simpson's golf ball.
No wind at all, and soft greens. It's like these guys.
The wind
really
is not
good.
crying Mary, that's for sure.
Yeah, I played yesterday with a guy who played on tour for 4 years, and he's going to go back on tour probably next year. And he was saying the course where we plays 8 to 10 strokes more difficult than most courses in the world. That's what he said, and this is from a pro. And he was like, just the wind alone, is just brutal. It's made me feel good about the way I've been playing recently, which hasn't been too good, but he also gave me a couple pointers, so we'll see how that works out for me. But
Okay.
I don't think one of them
But,
is going to help me hit 60-foot birdie putts like he was hitting. But
right.
anyways, it just seems that we're seeing sports go on in Europe. Like I said, I watched some Premier League this morning. I don't watch a ton of soccer. There definitely seems to be a lot more interest in the games that are being played around the world. At least I can see it. The way I always judge it is by our web traffic. And it's like this is more web traffic than we've ever gotten for soccer or UFC or any of these off events, what I always call the off sports, right? And so people are caring, and this has to be working, or else they would stop these leagues, right? They would just stop them. So why can't we copy what they're doing?
I don't have the answer. My only answer is I think football is in jeopardy. I really do. I know there's no real hard data right now to say that, but if it keeps trending, I just think in the back of my mind, I really think sports is really in jeopardy for this whole year. I do.
I honestly don't think so, but that's just
I
me.
do.
I'm an optimist, and I'm going to
But
say...
shifting gears for the state of Florida, we lost one of your iconic Miami Dolphins. Unfortunately, Jim Kick passed away.
Yep, the third best running back on our 72 team.
That is correct. Jim Kick was born 15 minutes from where I'm broadcasting right now in Lincoln Park, New Jersey. He played at Boonton High School, New Jersey. He actually went to the University of Wyoming. And he was like a 3-time All-American there. Led the Wyoming rushing, and Larry Zonka's best friend, and obviously a member of the 72 perfect team. So,
yeah. I think that Jim Kick is a good example of a guy who was a grinder, to me. He was never as skilled as some of the other players, especially even the players on that team or of that era. But he got it done with the tools that he had, and he was kind of like, a early Kevin Falk type player, where
that's a good comparison.
Yeah, he was kind of like a good role player on the team. The fact that he was in the backfield with Zonka and Mercury Morris kind of made him, it's like what are you gonna do? It's like so.
It's a
it's like
three-headed monster.
Yeah, when you have a running back that can barrel it up the middle like that. And it's like you don't stuff the middle, and that he can drag guys 30, 40 yards down the field. The little dunk pass to the outside to a Jim Kick is going to be effective. And if Mercury Morris and Larry Zonka were thunder and lightning, then Jim Kick was probably the I don't know what you would call him, but he was certainly an important piece of the puzzle.
He was a good guy, too. He became a private investigator after his career. I think he lived in Broward County, so he was a Florida guy, true and true, after being raised in New Jersey. So just wanted to mention Jim Kick, R.I.P.
Yeah, it's always good to have big wins. It's even better if you could give your picks out before the game start. That's what I always say. And it's like, it's like I'm 100% in games I get to give out after the game is over. So we have a Facebook group for you to give out your picks before the game starts. And this way you're kind of accountable for the ones because nobody wins them all. Nobody has great days every single day, though we try. It doesn't mean that we can't try. But I'm a little more optimistic than Steve is. I am not going to let the doom and gloom get me. I think we're going to have sports, and I'll tell you what, I think it's going to be gangbusters. And, I'm really excited about everything happening at Sports Chat Place and Pick Dogs. And, we're going to be adding our multi-handicapper site. We have probably 30-plus handicappers that are going to be coming with us. Some other sites said, if you're going to be on Mitch's site, you can't be on our site. And everyone said, see you later. We're going with Mitch. So, pretty interesting.
Alrighty then.
And we'll see ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye. It's like... It's like... Once you fit your head through the door, well, maybe we can talk about this. Of course,
But
legally prohibited.
and a happy Father's Day, by the way, to all the fathers out there.
My father passed away when I was a kid, so Facebook Father's Day, one of my least favorite days on Facebook. My least favorite day on Facebook, as I've said millions of times, is Easter, followed by Mother's Day and Father's Day, right up there. It's like,
Right.
you know, I think that you know, and it's part of it is because my parents are long gone at this point, but you know,
Yeah.
but the other part of it is more like that it's just, you know, nobody's perfect, so I don't, you know, it's like when I pass away, you know, it's going to happen, right? I mean, it's definitely going to happen. So it's like when that day does come, I don't want anyone to ever say, like, at my eulogy or anything about me that I was, you know, perfect in any way, shape, or form, because it's not true. It's not true.
No, if I say a few words about you, trust me, that won't be part of the theme.
I would say I might be perfectly imperfect.
And if I go first, God help you with what the hell you going to say about me.
Anyways, we're going to bring in Chris Ruffalo. Steve, you can stay with us. What the hell? There's nothing really going on here. So
I'm not doing anything. Sure.
Yeah, we'll get Sway. The man in red, Chris Ruffalo. How's it going? Red rum.
Red rum.
I'm in the red rum, huh? Yeah,
Yes.
no, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. UFC last night. Now, one of those fights was probably one of the best UFC fights that you could possibly see, right? We talked about like how bad the card was and how bad the matchups have become. You know, and it might be it's just that, you know, just to fill some of these spots. And we saw that last night where, you know, you had a guy with 5 total MMA fights, you know, probably a guy that has a good future in the sport, forced on short notice to come in, cut weight, and by the time the third round came, it wasn't that he was getting beaten up so bad, and that's why his corner didn't want to throw in the towel. He was just gassed, you know. He just had nothing left in the tank. So we saw that, and what'd you think of the fight where the guy got his leg almost snapped in half and then came back, and it was just as Gordon Soley from Championship Wrestling from Florida used to say, a Pier 6 brawl.
I mean, it's like you said, it was one of the better fights of the night. Probably the best fight of the night. And I mean, going back to what we were talking about, the corner stoppage, it's just another sort of black eye for the Athletic Commission with having to deal with this. I mean, you saw it with Anthony Smith last month against Glover Teixeira, where Smith wanted to pull out of he just wanted to pull out of the fight, but his corner wouldn't let him throw in the towel. You know, give credit to Worskov for stepping in and saying, you know what, no, I'm done. He was behind 2017 on all 3 scorecards at that point. You know, and he was, like he said, he was gassed. He was done. And credit to him for taking his own future into his own hands and saying, you know what, I accepted this fight on 5 days' notice. I cut the weight. I made the fight, but I'm not ready for this. And you know, rightfully so. He stepped out and he called the fight. He knew his limits, and he knew when he reached it.
Could there be a worse main event than we saw last night? I mean, is it possible?
For the hype that it was given, I think it was pretty bad. I
was
mean, you've got Curtis Blades saying, "Oh, for those of you who are expecting a 25-round tactical fight where we just wrestle and we grapple and whatever, I hate to tell you, but this isn't the fight you're going to want to watch." Well, you're right. It wasn't the fight we wanted to watch because you gave it to us. Because that's all it was. He pulled him in, and they were making it this big deal that Volkov's 6'7". He has this 81-inch reach. Well, Curtis Blades from the tail of the tape had an 80-inch reach, so it's not like it was that much of an advantage. And he pulled him in and he wrestled him to the ground and controlled him for the better part of 25 minutes.
Looked like Blades had the low center of gravity working for him whenever they got close together. You know, you would think that Volkov would have been able to do a little more, but I tell you, they got to the ground and it was pound. But anyways, I don't know. I just thought it was not the best card. Of course, yesterday we also had the Belmont Stakes. Wasn't even really the Belmont Stakes. Rod and I did a show, quick show, and my horses came in second and fourth. I had second and third. The 3 came flying out of nowhere. And when we first looked at the names, 3 was one of the horses that I liked. So I don't know, man. But I'm not going to bet a 4 to 5, horse.
No,
unless it's Secretariat, unless something like that. I'm going to try and beat him, and I'm not going to beat that horse at that distance. If it's a mile and a half, I think my 9 gets him. Personally, but that's besides the point. Anyways, Chris, soccer matches today. What's going on? I know that there's some Serie A and there's some La Liga.
Yeah, that's where I'm stashing a bird cage for today. At 2 o'clock, I just want to give a little bit of a shout out. Merseyside derby, Everton Liverpool, one of the older rivalries in English soccer. It's going to be on at 2 Eastern. But as far as soccer picks for today, I've got 3 games I'm looking at. I like Atalanta in Serie A to beat Sassuolo, minus 110 on the minus 1.5 handicap. Atalanta is just the better team. Sassuolo came in hot after the break, but Atalanta was playing better, so I'll take Atalanta minus 1.5. I'll also take Inter Milan minus 1.5 against Sampdoria. Much of the same reasoning. Sampdoria is just not a very good team, and Inter Milan had a cup game to sort of shake off the rust that they were dealing with coming into this one. So I'll take Inter Milan minus 1.5, and I'll take Valencia in La Liga to beat Osasuna, money line at minus 111. Valencia they do their best work at home this season, unbeaten 15 games, and even though there's no home field advantage, Osasuna doesn't really travel all that well. So I'll take Valencia money line there. So I'll parlay those 3 into a bird cage. Atalanta minus 1.5, Inter Milan minus 1.5, and Valencia money line for plus 655.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice schedule today for soccer. It's like this makes it kind of palatable instead of having these weekday games. For us, like for me, they're in the middle of the night. For most people, in the middle of the afternoon. These are kind of in the middle of the afternoon, but after, our show starts, so it's not the early morning for us, and it's like throughout the day. If they did this, I bet it would gain a lot more popularity in the U.S. than what it has now, because it's already gaining some really good momentum. Though, and I have to say, watching the game with no sound, it made me come up with a couple ideas. Steve, how do you like this one? Okay. Virtual soccer hooligan. You sit around. The requirement to get into the room is you have to show proof that you've drank at least 10 to 12 Guinness. Okay?
Sure.
You get into the chat room. Everyone just is verbally abusive to one another like trolls, unaccountable, right? Okay. For the entire length of the game.
I like where you're going with
virtualsoccerhooligan.com. It's like you can
someone get Dick Ebersol.
Yeah, right.
I think that my other idea was is that anyone who's watching the game, right, gets piped into the stadium, noise-wise, okay, at the same decibel level. Everyone is equal, right? So you have, a million people watching the game, and everyone has like a mic like we have, or your computer mic or whatever, but the sound setting is set the same for everyone. So you get the crowd noise at the game.
It's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea if you have a mixing board that can accommodate 4 million people. It's
right. It can cover like it was at Live 8 or something.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you who would be up for this task though. Ormsby. It's like call Charles Ormsby. He's in.
He's already working on it.
He's like,
don't challenge me.
It's like,
hold my Guinness.
It would start with that. Really wouldn't be that hard. It's like
I'll have this figured out by 5 o'clock.
It's like he's got all the things going on in the background, all the computers going. It's like smoke is coming out of him.
It'd be like the Batcave computer.
It's like
from Batman.
The guy is amazing. Some of the new stuff that he is coming out with Spread Knowledge is pretty incredible. So really, really excited to start using that again as well. I know he's been doing the soccer with Spread Knowledge, so maybe I'll start doing some of that in lieu of the sim picks, as we will be ditching the sim picks, I believe. I'm kind of I fought the good fight with the Sim
Don't
pick.
tease me here. Don't tease me here.
I fought the good. Well, I looked at yesterday's web traffic. Right, I always look at the web traffic and everything. And I mean, it was one of our better traffic days since the stoppage. It was still like 10% of what we normally do. Maybe even a little more. It was actually pretty decent traffic yesterday. And I looked at the sim picks, and like 15 people read these articles. It's like, I mean, it's like 4,000 people are reading the Emmett article, and 15 people are reading the sim pick article. So maybe people don't care that much. I think
Maybe it's time.
Yeah,
The drop of
I think. What I said this to Rod, this morning when I was talking to him before the show, and he was telling me about the outage at the acreage, about this, and he just said, well, with Real Sports, I think maybe that had something to do with it coming back.
Exactly.
So I think we could throw in some sim picks. If we're talking, Chris, could say also, some of the sim I like this, or Rod could say, I like this sim hockey pick, or something like that. But I think the sim pick segment, I seriously think we could say, okay, what's for dinner tonight, and it would, people would be more interested.
That's exactly right.
And everyone can type in. Everyone can type in what they plan on having for dinner tonight. It's like it would be more interesting than that. So we're gonna ditch sim picks. Today will be our last day of the sim picks.
How'd we do yesterday?
How did we do yesterday, Chris? He doesn't even know because see, he's not. He does the games. He's not even paying attention anymore.
That's right.
So I dozed off for a second there. I was thinking about dinner.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
I'm thinking Chinese tonight.
We do pizza on a smoker, I think.
Devin likes Chase Elliott today. I don't remember who Rod and Jeff Jeter's picks were, but you could watch our Trading Paint segment that we did. We did a special show called Trading Paint. Yesterday for our live Belmont show, Rod and I had nearly 100 people watching live. It was like I got home from the golf course like fairly late. It was like maybe 5 minutes before the race started. We got rolling, but we had almost 100 people watching us. So maybe more stuff like that. We'll try instead of the sim picks, and maybe we'll do some live game watching or something. Maybe we'll get Shane on. We'll watch some Korean baseball. That should be crazy shit. Anyways. So
Can I get a virtual hot dog watching the Korean? Yeah.
We could sell them.
You might get virtually sick.
We could we could sell them at Virtual Hooligan. But I think that in Japan they sell squid on a stick at the games. So I don't know what the snack bar looks like in Korea. We'll have to look this up. Find out exactly what's going on there. Maybe some bean pops, maybe some bulgogi.
Short ribs.
Korean snack bar menu.
Ooh.
We went down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm interested. Hopefully they have the English translation. Delectable wonders at baseball stadiums in Korea. Of course, they have it there. Wow. Alcoholic drinks stronger than 5%. Oh, boy. Oh, man. Drinks stronger than 6% are not allowed, so they go right to the limit. Let's see what they have. You only really go to the stadium for the food and the fun that comes with it. The distance to the field is too far. A Jura fried chicken box, 11 pieces of boneless fried chicken and 10 spicy wings, 19,000 won. It's like we're at Giant Stadium here, but look at what you get for it. $17. It's 19,000 won. 11 pieces of boneless fried chicken. Fried chicken's just very popular at these games. 71% of all stadium goers get the fried chicken. Hamburgers, 6%. Dried seafood and nuts, 5%. That doesn't even sound good. Adult beverages, namely beer, accounted for 5%. And jock ball, That's pig's feet for those keeping score at home. Racked up 4%.
Ooh.
Let's see. Doosan Bears and LG Twins share their home stadium, and chicken is what it's all about there as well.
Flying out the door.
Yeah. They have some pictures here of the chicken. I tell you what, you get a nice hefty portion there for your $17.
Sure.
72 food outlets per stadium is the average. And they have KFC and Burger King available in the stadiums. Oh, Sagiamopozo pork barbecue, spicy pig intestines for you, Ruffalo, Gop Chang.
Just hold me back. Take my money.
The Gop Chang matches the adrenaline rush on the stadium grounds.
I still have a problem looking at Burger King in
Oh my
Japan
God!
or Korea.
So in
have
some
a problem with that, too.
in some stadiums you can bring your own beer.
Nice.
No, the only reason I have a problem is because I saw a Whopper with like a black bun. And I couldn't remember if it was for Halloween or something, but
Right.
it just looked off.
Wow, this is crazy, man. Go check Dome's home stadium. Arrange lasagna, double cheeseburgers, BLT sandwiches, and mac and cheese.
Outstanding cuisine. Outstanding.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in a food coma by the 6th inning.
It's like, they're like, we throw it to Chris Ruffalo live at Doosan Stadium. It's like, I gotta tell you, the pork intestines really aren't that bad.
I'm going for seconds on the pork intestines.
Don't knock it till you try it. He's got the napkin.
He does the bullpen sign to the guy. Waving it in.
Oh man!
Wave down the stock vendor with the case on his chest. Hey, two more.
They pass it down the thing, you know. It's like the money. It's like at the stadium, you pass. It's like where else in the world do you like give somebody $20 and they pass it like 15 people down? You know, it's like here's the change.
I just hold up the empty container. Just sling it.
That's the change, you know. Keep it. Okay.
Keep it.
Me? No. It's like,
Just like the Homer Simpson where they're passing it down, he takes 2 bites out of the hot dog, gets to the guy with a half-eaten hot dog. He's like, "Hey."
I will say, man, I've seen some of the best peanut throwers, man, at stadiums too. The guys
Oh,
behind
sure.
the back, like it's like amazing.
It's an art.
It is an art form, but yeah. So tomorrow is Monday with Mitch. We're gonna do a studio tour. I have since the last time you guys have seen it, I've kind of revamped things. Well, more than kind of revamped it. And tomorrow, the release of the new Apple iMac is slated for the Mac Developers Conference, our first time ever virtual. So if you're looking at an iMac, head to eBay tomorrow, man. You're gonna get a great deal. You're gonna get a computer that's you're gonna get a computer. If you can get a recent one, you know, throw in some memory, you'll get a computer that'll last you 10 years for like a third of the price, you know? So,
Right.
I mean, I have the iMac Pro. I mean, I got it for the studio build, and people knew the new one was coming. That the iMac is definitely going to be a new one, but not sure the iMac Pro will be. But still, the iMac Pro prices in general are dropping as well. So I got a hell of I have 18 cores or something on this thing. It's like you can't even hear it, right? Since I changed, you can't not even. I mean, this thing is like it's barely getting started.
It's like the hunt for Red October.
It's crazy, crazy stuff. Well, anyways, boy, you know, see what happens. You know, in sports, hopefully by Tuesday we have some really good news. Baseball, you know, I don't know, it's like, I mean, I can't explain it, you know, as to what's going on. Back-to-back golf tournaments in Columbus, Ohio, you know, on tap.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The world this is a strange year, right?
It certainly is.
So we're just gonna keep plugging away, doing what we do though. at the websites, probably. And, like I said, when we are ready to roll, hopefully it's sooner rather than later, you'll see a lot of new stuff from us at Sports Chat and Pick Dogs. Got a lot of new people coming on board, and that means a lot of new shows. And I'm like I've said, I'm not sure if I'm going to take this show to 2 hours, which is a possibility. But so I think I can do it now, a 2-hour show. So we'll have to see. Anyways, anything else to add, guys? Chris?
Dude, I was looking at just a couple head-to-head NASCAR matchups.
Go ahead.
Toss them out quickly.
Why not?
I'm just going to be fading Martin Truex Jr. in all these head-to-head matchups today. He's finished around 20th in his last few trips to this racetrack. I don't think he's ever finished above 20th. So I think I'm going to take Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch. You can get them around minus 140, minus 145. Anywhere you see Martin Truex Jr. in a head-to-head matchup, I'm going the other way.
Rumor has it that Truex ordered up all the gochujang that they didn't eat at the Korean baseball stadiums, and it's really porking up. It's like Nigel Mansell, his final year on Formula One. He was so fat he couldn't fit in the car. It was it's like, where the hell's Mansell? It's like, he's got grease all over his hands from the chicken.
This car's getting smaller.
It's like,
which one of you guys shrunk my window?
It's like,
hey, who struck my window?
It's like, what happened to the steering wheel? It's like, is that fried chicken grease on there? It's like Mansell. It's like, you got a piece of French fry in your mustache.
Why isn't the car going? You just said you wanted canola oil instead of motor oil. In case you wanted to fry some chicken mid-race.
Yeah, I think that those drivers don't get the credit that they deserve as far as having to be in shape and staying light and all of those things, because it certainly does matter.
Sure does.
It certainly matters.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Monday with Mitch. It's going to be on my regular Facebook channel as well as this one, and of course Tuesday Rod Zawacki will be back with us, so plenty of action as well. Man, just give me a Houston Rockets versus Lakers game. Just give me something to work with. I mean, can you imagine how good we're going to be when we have actual stuff to talk about? It's like not going to know what to do with ourselves. It's like, the Charlotte Hornets are playing the Orlando Magic. It's going to be like, Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you guys. Be safe out there.
All right. Bye.